can be like a pole star when you watch it.
Yeah.
Totally, yes.
Yeah, very interesting ones, those stars. Anyways, so these were one of the pioneers of the synth style, and they use it a lot, extensively.
Yes.
In a lot of tracks, and they were very good at that. With the old technologies, because it was different making electronic music in the 70s, 80s than making electronic music in the 2000s.
Oh, yes.
Technology is much better now. Following up, we will go ahead with the interview with our synthwave band. Well, see, it's not really synthwave because they are synthwave and rock, and right. This is not just. I wouldn't say they are synthwave band. They use synthwave, or they are inspired in that.
Well, the first submission I got, I told you earlier, I was researching all the synthwave bands I got as submissions, and they called themselves with their influence and certainly playing synthwave music in the first submission.
Yeah, but well,
I think
not pure synthwave, as I understand. Like
yes.
But it's cool. So these are very nice guys, and let's listen to the interview, and they will. Well, you will know more about them, of course, when they are talking. So
yes.
Our interview with the Lyricals. Enjoy. So today we have with us the Lyricals. That is a synthwave rock duo from the UK. Thank you so much for being here, guys, today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and well, what we normally do at the beginning is just ask the band to introduce themselves a little bit more, which instruments they play, what do they do in the band. So please go ahead.
You want to go first, Dino? I'll let Dino go first. He is the singer. So.
Yeah. So I'm Dino. I'm the singer and bass guitarist, and we both produce as well. So we're joint producers. So that's what I do. And you go ahead, Josh. You say yours.
Yeah, I'm Josh, or Bov as a nickname. Because my second name is Bovington, so Bov, Josh or Bov is fine. I play guitar, I sometimes sing, and I play keyboard as well. And I do production, so just a little bit of everything, but primarily guitar.
Okay, very good. And you live both. In which area of the UK are you based? Which city?
We're just outside of London. So in an area called Surrey. It's just a little bit outside of London. It's like about 40 minutes on the train to get to London. So
okay.
Yeah, just outside of that. That's where we're both from.
Okay. So you live close to each other?
Yeah, we
pretty
do.
Close.
Yeah.
I mean, I live. What do you reckon, Dino? About 40 minutes away from you.
I would say even less than that. I would say even I would say maybe about half an hour max. But yeah, we're very local to each other.
Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that, because of lockdown, we've really haven't seen too much of each other. We have here and there, but just...
Yeah, that is actually what the main reason why I was asking, because we were wondering how do you do now with the lockdown for making music together, and so how is your workflow? And because I imagine you kept working even during the lockdown in new songs, because you just released an album that talks about the quarantine and so on. So so how do you do it now with how have you been working recently with this situation?
It's been weird because obviously not being able to meet up in person has made making music very different to us, because quite often we'd obviously meet up, discuss ideas, just kind of jam. But in a weird way, being in a lockdown has kind of given us this new creativity, because we had nothing else to do. Obviously we couldn't be together, but because we had nothing else to do, we could put all our time into the music. So it kind of gave us a new creative lease in a way, because we could kind of work on things separately and then send them over to each other. Then so I'd sort of do a beat or something, send it over to Dino or a riff, and he would add his vocals to it, and he'd send it back to me. And we were just doing this all the time, and it kind of kept both of us sane, I think, through lockdown.
Definitely.
just sending the music to each other, and to the point that we were doing it so much we had enough to release an album. We actually released an album in 2020 anyway, just before lockdown. We released our first album, but we did so much recording as the lockdown went on that we had enough material to release a second album, and it just seemed the right time to do it because everything we were writing about was to do with the lockdown. You know, we had quarantine. The name of the album's House Arrest, so that kind of tells you you need to know. It's been a challenge, but it's been fun as well. It's been a different way of doing things. I'll just say that, but it's not been unpleasant really. It's been quite cool. I don't know. What do you think, Dina?
No, I mean I completely agree. Like, it's just really sort of just pushed us to be more creative and to find ways to, sort of make the music we want to make despite all the sort of restrictions that were put on us. It's good that Josh mentioned the first album. Funny enough, we actually recorded most of that album in the room that he's in now, which is fun little trivia. So that album was Journey to Euphoria, which we were really happy about because that was our first album. That was like our first sort of entry in things. And yeah, as far as the second album, it's like Josh just completely sort of hit the nail on the head in that, by the end we just had so much material that we just, let's just put it all in an album and then just put it out. And I can't tell you the amount of emails and WhatsApps that
I can imagine.
Throughout the whole.
You could write a book. The amount of things.
So you should consider that.
That's gonna be the side project.
and you were mentioning, I'm curious that you got like the entire last album is reflecting about the quarantine and the lockdown and so on. What type of things did you reflect about related to that on the album?
I mean, a lot of it. So with quarantine, that was like we start the album. The second track on the album is Quarantine, and it's quite dark in a lot of ways because the lyrics are talking about you like kind of self-reflection. You're kind of looking inwards and being like, one of the lyrics is too much time to reflect on all that I regret, and that's kind of true of lockdown.
Yeah.
When we first were in the lockdown, you're kind of sitting there, you don't really know what to do except kind of look inwards and yourself. And it kind of starts out a bit negative, I would say. That track is quite dark. It's quite, kind of not gothic, but kind of, it's darker. But as the album goes on, it kind of becomes more uplifting, and it's things that you want to do outside of lockdown. Another track that we were really proud of that did quite well, people liked, was called Not Giving Up. And that follows straight after Quarantine on the album. And that's just kind of so hopeful. It kind of comes out of the ashes of quarantine. It's talking about not giving up, not kind of giving in to things and kind of staying strong through everything. And I think that's kind of the main thing we got out of the album and out of lockdown as well, is that it starts off sure, but then after a while you need to start being more positive and trying to be more uplifted. There's also a song called Keep On Smiling, which speaks for itself, really. You got to keep on smiling and hope that everything will be okay. So I think that's the album, in a way, can be kind of considered a journey from the start of lockdown being negative. Very first track's House Arrest. Obviously, you're stuck in quarantine, and then as it goes on, you're doing okay again. So I kind of hope that comes across when you listen to the album in full.
Yeah, well, I think it's a very nice reflection, and actually, I'm one of those persons that, because of being in lockdown, had time to reflect about the things I didn't like and try to redirect and change my life somehow. So I totally align with that idea. So that's good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, and so I've seen that you started making music in 2018, right? Like got together as the Lyricals.
It's weird. I mean, we got together and I've known Dino for years. Like, geez, how long have I known you, Dino, man? It's been about like.
I think we're going on 10 years.
Too long.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Too long. Yeah.
I still can't get rid of them. Yeah, but it's but we initially we never really set out. I mean, we were both music fans. I was in like another band a couple of years ago. Well, no, a long time ago now. Just when I was at university and stuff. I finished that and I wasn't really doing anything. And we were away at site. We were on holiday. It was me, Dino, and all of our friends. And we were in Amsterdam. And while we were there, my girlfriend took this picture of me and Dino on this bridge. And she put like a black and white filter on it. And it just looked really cool. We were just kind of like, well, that would make like a really good album cover. Someone was just like, that would make a really good album cover. And we were thinking, you know what? It would make a good album cover. So we were like sitting there. We were thinking, maybe we should start a band so we can use this.
Yeah, literally.
That was the reason. That's amazing.
Yeah, the lyrics started from a picture.
It started from a picture because we liked this picture so much. And we were sitting in this bar in Amsterdam. We were all sitting around. And we couldn't think of a name for the band. And I don't know how we came up with Lyricals. I think initially, because when we first started the band, Dino, I don't think you played the instruments. I only played guitar. I played a little bit of keyboard, but I was primarily guitar. I couldn't sing. I'm still getting there with the singing. But we thought, well, what can we do? Well, lyrics. And then someone was like, Lyricals. And we're like, okay, that works. Lyricals. We'll go with that. And we thought it sounded like a good name. And it was literally just born like that in a bar. In Amsterdam. We came back from Amsterdam and we were just kind of inspired to get started, and we started out very basically by just kind of making like kind of dance music, and after that we kind of thought, well, yeah, instrumentals, and we kind of thought, well, we might as well make music that we actually like listening to, so let's try and move into a more of like a synthy kind of synth rock kind of thing, and this kind of has been good ever since then, really. We've kind of developed since that picture.
Yeah,
that is interesting. So you say synthwave rock. How much of synthwave, how much of rock do you consider you have?
We're a bit of everything. We just touch upon like a lot of different kind of music, because both of us, I would say, are, you know, our music taste is probably incredibly varied. You know, we listen to a lot of rock. Like I listened to a lot of rock growing up, and especially over the last few years, I got really into like dance music, and I've always loved 80s music. So it's also putting a lot of that stuff together. So maybe like the kind of synth sounds that you would hear like in 80s tracks, but, you know, also keeping that love of rock that I've had ever since I was a child sort of going. And I think, Josh, you know, you're pretty much the same. We're both really into rock and like the same kind of music.
Yeah, I've seen in your Spotify that list. You have MGMT, Tears for Fears, Nirvana, and so on. So it's a very interesting mix. So yeah, sorry, I interrupt you. Jean, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I would just kind of agree with that. I mean, when we first started, because like our equipment was particularly limited, we were kind of doing more of the synthwave stuff out of a necessity. So it's kind of like we were working with the tools we had. More than anything, so we kind of went more down the synthwave path. But we found that the more we got into synthwave, synthwave is really good. I love synthwave music because it's kind of on the rise a little bit. It's kind of like this 80s inspired, you know, keyboard kind of stuff, which I love. But the thing is, we were going down that road so much, we were kind of getting pigeonholed in it, and you'd end up on like, we were getting played on radio stations, but it was like it's all synth stuff, and we would just become known as like just a synth band. We were like, we don't really want to just do synth stuff. We want more. And I think when Dino actually got a decent bass, we were flying from there. And we've really tried to incorporate rock music into what we do. And I think that's going to be even more apparent with our next releases.
Yeah, that's really cool. So how do you produce? Which software do you use?
I use Logic.
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 Cool. It's the main, and then like, I mean, I've got an electric guitar, acoustic guitar. I've got a couple of keyboards, and we've just kind of been working on those. We try and keep it kind of basic how we record, and just try and make the most out of it. I like using like a lot of reverb and stuff like that. Any kind of pretty effects I can put onto something, I love doing it, just to kind of get that extra sound. I'm sure it's the same with Dino as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And did you have experience previously in producing music, or you just learn on the way?
No, just I mean, well, for me, it's just been. Oh, sorry, man. It's literally just been sort of trial and error, really. Just sort of seeing what works. I think that's the best way you can really learn these kind of softwares, because, like, you can look up a few YouTube videos. You know, but you really won't get to the crux of it until you actually try and see what works for you.
Yeah, I guess depending on the sound you want and so on.
Absolutely. It's just a lot of trying these things out. Like I said, I used to be in another band, and like the other guy in the band did all the work. Like I literally just played guitar, so I didn't really have that much experience other than just doing the guitar. So kind of doing this has been really fun. Just with the Lyricals, it just feels so kind of DIY. You're just kind of learning as you go along, and I think that's kind of the best way of doing it in a way.
Yeah. And Ollie, do you have any? Yeah, I can keep asking. I just want to let Ollie ask if you want.
Go ahead.
I think it's actually already answered my question. I was wondering your profile pic. It's a bit spacey. Is it exactly that one from Amsterdam, or?
You know what? Which one was? Is that the one that's on? Yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
we have added some effects to it, but that is the famous picture that started the band. That was the picture that we were using for absolutely everything at one point, and we've kind of taken a few other pictures now that we're happy with that we've used. That is the famous picture from Amsterdam.
So your girlfriend is the graphic designer of the band, you could say.
Yeah, you can say. My girlfriend Gemma is kind of the unofficial third member of the Lyricals. She's actually done a few vocals for us as well. Like she didn't want to do it. She loves music, but she's not interested in being in the band or anything. But I literally got on quarantine that the girl's voice in it is my girlfriend Gemma. I say girlfriend, she's my fiance now because I proposed recently.
Ooh, congratulations!
I should say fiance. Thank you. Yes, but so she's kind of like the unofficial third member. So she has helped us with like the graphic design stuff. The album cover as well for House Arrest. She took that picture as well. So she's definitely helped out a lot. She's done a few backing vocals every now and then as well. So she's been a big help. Unofficial third member for sure.
Definitely our default photographer on everything. Like I think she's taken pretty much every photo to do with the Lyricals, whether it's us or like ambient shots. It's always been her.
Yeah, there are good pictures actually. So
she did a degree at university in photography, so that's probably that coming into play.
Yes, definitely. And what are you working on now? Do you have plans for the future? Seeing the end of the quarantine for maybe getting gigs, or you are going to keep producing at home for a while, or what are your plans, or what are you working on now?
I think you'll probably be at home for a while. I'll let Dino take that. Go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, we're working on some tracks now. I've got a few actually that I've been working on, and sort of still going in that direction of a bit more rock than our previous stuff. I would say that, it's going definitely in a more electro rock kind of direction, as opposed to our more synth-based stuff from earlier. We're still probably going to have some stuff that has been sort of apparent in our earlier stuff, but I think we're definitely moving into a bit more new territory in terms of releases. In terms of gigs, I don't know. I think that will probably we'll have to see how that goes, depending on all the restrictions and stuff like that we have. But we hope that at least our next few releases will be able to hopefully even jam together again and, just sort of have a bit more of a live feel. I think that's one thing that we definitely want to... I think that's definitely one thing we want to have with our next, releases or even album, is more of a sort of live feel, because I think that's also something that we're all longing for, especially now, just sort of missing that live aspect of music, which I feel like the best thing. So I think that's going to be a big thing about our next sort of releases, just bringing back that live feel.
Okay. Ollie, any other question to ask, or shall we jump to the section, or go ahead?
I think we move to our
okay. Well,
series.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have the last section of the interview that is about questions that one of them is related to music, but the rest are not directly related to music that we like to ask to know more about the bands.
Awesome.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, true. That's true. So shall we jump to that one then?
Let's go
absolutely, that's it.
Okay, the first one is easy because you already kind of responded before. Which is your favorite instrument? And why?
I'll be the guitar for me. Electric guitar. I mean, there's so much you can do on it. It's, keeps me going, man. I know Dino's answer, but I'll let him answer it.
Yeah. Bass guitar has definitely been sort of just one of the best things I've picked up because, I mean, I've always sort of loved bass guitarists anyway. Like, I mean, I grew up basically worshipping Flea, and I'm really huge on, but both of us are really huge on Thundercat and a lot of other really famous bassists. And, you know, where we're
wearing his shirt.
Yeah, he's actually wearing his shirt.
He has a t-shirt.
I have to,
he actually bought that when we saw him in concert last year, which was a great concert. So that's been my favorite instrument, and incorporating it more into our tracks, the upcoming tracks that we have for sure has been really fun as well, like sort of experimenting with that kind of sound.
Good. Okay. Oli?
Okay. If you could, well, very difficult. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Ooh.
Oh, that is a good question.
Go on, Bobby.
I don't know. I wouldn't fly. I'd be scared. I'm kind of scared of heights, so I wouldn't fly. I would go for let me think. Super strength. That would be a cool one. That's always handy, you know. I can imagine like flipping a car or something.
You already. I've been around you long enough that I think you already have that anyway.
I've been compared to the Hulk in the past, but that has nothing. That's just like a de facto thing because we all had Marvel characters assigned to us by my mate. So.
You have to tell us which Marvel characters are those. Now that this.
And actually, Dino, I don't know if you would have one, but this is like a different group of people, but my friend Tom is very good at like assigning people, Marvel characters, and for me, the Hulk fits to a T. I don't lose my temper, but if something needs to be said, I'll probably be the one who says it. I'll just say that. I'm sure Dino can back that up as well.
Yeah, in a good way though. Like I mean,
in a good way. Yeah.
Not going crazy and breaking everything down, right?
Yeah.
No.
He hasn't got to that yet.
And which? Maybe Dino hasn't thought about that yet. But which one would you? Do you have one in mind for you, Dino, or shall we ask Josh to suggest one for you?
I think I'm curious to see what he says. Like, what you got, Bob?
Oh my goodness, that is really hard. I mean, I would have said Captain America, but like he's not Italian. It would be like Captain Italian. If there's a spin-off, that would be you. You like the kind of, you know, wears his heart on his sleeve. Kind of is always there for people, you know, faces his shield.
Oh. Do you agree? Do you know?
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. If he said Tony Stark.
Who would you give yourself?
Okay. So the next question is, if you could travel in time, where would you go?
Do you want to answer that first, Dino, or do you want me to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. I would say, and Josh, you'll know why I'm going to say this, I would travel back to 2018.
Oh, that is a great shout. Okay, that is a good shout.
Okay, let me explain. 2018 for us, like, has been, like, in terms of, not even just with the band, but, like, it's been generally a great sort of year for us, like, literally, we were probably just having the best time. Like, you know, we always had, a bunch of plans every month, whether it be a concert. We were going around the country a lot and even to other little breaks and stuff like that. And generally, like, personally in our lives has been like a really positive sort of year, and everything was like completely positive all around us in our lives. And I think now with like, you know, how drastic things are now, you know, I just sort of reflect on that time thinking, oh God, like that was such a good year. Like when you just struggle to think of anything bad that happened for you personally that year, you would just want to live in that moment all the time.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah,
and Josh?
I would have to say the same. I was going to say the 60s in general, just because I love 60s music, but 2018 was, it was so good. Me and Dino and a couple of other friends, we set ourselves a goal. We wanted to go to a gig every single month in 2018, and we did it. We went to a gig every single month, and there was one of the best ones we went to. It was 2018. Well, that was Franz Ferdinand, right? Do you know?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So you guys know Franz Ferdinand, right? The band.
Yes.
Yeah. So they were playing in our local town, and it was one of the best gigs we've been to. Like, it was amazing. Everyone was going crazy. It was great. But as we were leaving the gig, the band started leaving as well. So we saw like the guitarist of Franz Ferdinand walk out. Everyone starts running after him. And like, oh my, I've got to meet him. You know, everyone runs after him. And then Alex Kapranos, the lead singer, walks out. No one had seen him. And we were like, oh my God.
He went under the radar.
we went straight up to him, and we just like, we met Alex Kapranos and like got a picture with him and stuff. But honestly, we'd all had a bit to drink that night, including Alex, I think. And it was a weird conversation. It
was a very weird conversation, but it's a conversation that we will forever cherish as well, because
it was.
Alex and Franz Ferdinand in general are a huge inspiration on like art and everything. So, you know, we just absolutely love Franz Ferdinand a lot. So it was a big moment for us.
Yeah, and I think we were talking to him for like a while, like quite a while, and it was only afterwards I realised, I was like, I think he only must have said like 3 words the whole time. We were just like talking at him. We were literally just like, oh, I love your music, I love your music, you know.
Yeah, he was very patient.
I'll have to. I'll send a picture over to you guys. We got a picture of him, and it's hilarious. He does not look impressed. He looks like he wants to go after it. But somehow that adds to it, you know. So it was a great moment. I'll just say that.
That's a nice experience. So 2019, you're the band that set the shortest time to travel back in time. It's very nice and interesting to hear that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And well, Ollie, our new question.
Yes, we have added recently a new one. When you were a kid, what wanted you to be when you are an adult, job-wise?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, that's a fun question.
Go first, Bob.
I really don't know. I like thinking back to when I was a kid. I like so long ago, all those years ago. I recently found an old school project of mine, and they had asked us that exact question, and I had written that I wanted to be a cop, and I was like, I have no recollection of this. I have no interest. I don't know what must have possessed me as a 5-year-old to put that I wanted to be a policeman, but I have no idea. I mean, I guess for me, I've always liked like movies and stuff, and I've always wanted to work in film in some way. And when I was at university, I did a script writing course. And yeah, that just kind of like that kind of life. Working with films would have been a dream back then. And I think in a way it could be now as well. I don't know how, I think as you get older, you realize how realistic things are. And I tried kind of working at script writing, and I still like to try to do that, but it kind of became like not so easy. You know, it's a lot of competition. So yeah, that was probably what I wanted to be when I was a kid. Anything involved in film, that kind of developed to script writing. And
well, but you could apply that. You could apply that for making music videos and so on with your fiancé. You could really make super good practice and get a nice experience by that. It's storytelling after all.
Yes, and you could play a policeman in it.
It's as well.
Yeah, like I think you know what, that's gonna be the next music video. That's what you're gonna play in the next music video now.
I'll have to be a policeman. I think it has to happen now. It's fate.
and knowing how we're going to write it, he's going to be arresting me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it fits really well. Yeah. So you have a plan already as script writer and camera. So
there you go. It's all, so maybe one day.
Yeah. He also writes the majority of our lyrics as well, so he's always been more in the writing sort of aspect. I think in terms of lyrics, I sort of lean more towards him when it's lyrics. I think I'm more sort of in the I can come up with music and stuff like that, but like lyrics I get lost. So I turn to Buddy Torpin over here, and I just let him do his thing.
I mean, I think though, I will say this about you, Dino, is like with me, I kind of I think I'm quite scattered when I write stuff, so I kind of just like write a load of stuff, and then like it'll be there, but it won't make a lot of sense. I send it to Dino, and Dino's very good at structuring things. I think like he can kind of structure so like he puts the method to my madness, so to speak. Like I'll just kind of write a whole load of words down, and I'll be like, here's some words, and then Dino will kind of structure it to a song, and then when he sings it, I'm like, God damn, I didn't even know that's how I wanted it to be, but there it is, and he kind of makes it worse.
I feel like that's the same. That's the same that I do with you as well, because I mean, I would. How many times have I sent you a beat, and then I just go like, it goes like da 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 or whatever else, and then you just kind of look at me like, yeah, okay.
Looks like a good match then.
Yeah, we're both scatterbrains that just find the method of each other's madness, I would say. Yeah,
that's very nice. Well, but don't think, Dean, that you are getting away without responding what you wanted to be when you were a kid.
Yeah. I think when I was really young, like I didn't really have anything I sort of traditionally say like I want to, be this when I grow up. I never really thought about that. Like I think that's something that a lot of times I am. It's just that I tend to sort of change my mind a lot because I went to university. I studied political science, and I thought that I was going to go work in some sort of non-government organization or something like that. But then I chose to focus more on sort of creative industry, sort of looking more towards also marketing and promotion, that kind of thing. So that's the sort of direction I'm going now. But I think when I was really young, I think that what I really wanted to do was I wanted to probably go into something like, in the restaurant business, because my family's in the restaurant business. I thought about that a lot when I was really young. I thought about owning my own sort of business, a restaurant kind of thing, just because I was surrounded by that sort of industry a lot when I was really young. So, but yeah, things change. I mean, like I said, I'm very much a scatterbrain, and like Josh can tell you that I'm just a completely like unshackled spirit. So
that is true.
That's good, anyways. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
yes.
And Ollie, next is I know it's whose turn is.
It's your turn.
My turn. So this is a complicated one. It's also related to music, but it is if you had to save a song for the humanity, which one would you choose? Like you think it is like the one should be saved.
That is a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would probably go with. I mean, one of my favorite bands is the Beach Boys. I love the Beach Boys, and I love their song "Good Vibrations." I think that would probably be a good one. That would probably be the one I'd save. It's kind of like a little masterpiece all in itself, even though it's only 5 songs. It's like it has all these different elements to it, and I think people could learn a lot from that song. So if I had to save something for humanity, that would probably be it.
Good one. Dino?
I would say Bohemian Rhapsody.
Another good one.
Yeah, I'm a massive Queen head, but I mean, who isn't? And I think that Bohemian Rhapsody, just in general, is just one of those. It's one of those tracks where, like, because it's so unique and like it speaks to everyone in such a different way. Like, we once, like, Josh, you'll probably remember this. when we went to a friend's birthday once. Like, this is before COVID, and we were in the bar area, and Bohemian Rhapsody came on, and literally everyone, including the staff, everyone sang the whole 6 minutes. Just went at it.
Yeah.
That's the effect that song has. So I mean, it's clear that song means so much to so many people, and like it's had such an effect on music in general. I would say that song is probably one of the most essential songs for anyone.
Yeah. Two very good ones. Very good. This is the last question of the interview, but before we leave.
All right.
Sorry. Before we leave, we would like to tell you to tell us what song of yours we should play after the interview.
Oh.
But before that, because that's going to be your presentation of the song. Thank you so much for being here today with us. It was very fun and very interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the future projects. Keep us posted with that.
Yeah, absolutely, we will.
So much. Yeah, we will do.
So, which song of yours would you like us to play after this interview? Could you introduce it for the audience?
That's a good question.
Would you reckon? I would go with. I would say House Arrest. Tino, what do you think?
I think that we can go for House Arrest.
Okay. So
introduce
you want to still? Okay, so we're the Lyricals, and playing up next is our track House Arrest.
We hope you enjoy it.
Stay If you're an EU citizen and were living in the UK by 31st of December